Right, I'm the duty inspector. You mind telling me what you're doing?
Inspector.
Can you just go around the front of the building now? I'll speak to you.
Please, I'll engage with you, but don't be aggressive like that.
Okay, well, don't. You must not look in the police station. The video inside the police station.
I wasn't videoing, but I was looking.
Is this on? Is it?
Well, I wasn't videoing.
Right. You do not film inside police stations, right?
Please don't speak to me like that. I'm not speaking to you like that.
Under legislation, okay?
An offence under legislation?
Yes, it is.
What legislation would that be?
It's a security offence, okay?
A security offence.
Right, just make
sure. You're being a bit fake there, Inspector.
Are you the gentleman who came earlier and asked to fly a drone over the police station?
I didn't ask. I said I'm gonna when I am gonna.
Right, okay. So I need to point out it's actually an offence under current legislation.
And what legislation would that be?
Right, okay. So it's an offence under the Air Traffic Management and Unmanned Aircraft Act of 2021.
No, it's not.
It is, okay.
No, it's not. Can you show me?
We've taken some legal guidance.
Can you show me?
I'm just going to tell you, okay?
Can you show me that legislation?
If you do that,
I am doing that.
I consider that a risk to the police station security.
I'm doing that.
If you continue to do that, I'll ask you to stop doing it, and if you don't do it, we'll seize your drone.
When a discussion turns to the Air Traffic Management and Unmanned Aircraft Act 2021, that doesn't automatically mean anything illegal is happening. This law mainly sets out how authorities can respond to misuse of drones and enforce airspace rules. It doesn't outright ban flying near police stations. For a drone to actually break the law, there must be a clear restriction, like a controlled airspace zone, a flight that puts people or property at risk, or ignoring civil aviation rules. None of those conditions apply here. When Turbinator asks the inspector to show the specific rule they are relying on, the inspector refuses. If the law were that clear-cut, simply pointing to it would resolve the situation right away, without any debate. Instead, the conversation stalls, leaving the legal basis uncertain and the tension unnecessary.
You will commit an offence and you will be reported.
I'll tell you what, Inspector.
Under that legislation. I'm just explaining what the legislation is.
Listen.
Okay.
If you can show me that legislation, then obviously I won't do it.
I've just explained to you what it is.
No, show me.
We've taken some guidance from our legal department.
Yeah.
I've just explained to you.
Well, you better take some more. You better take some more then.
So
if you can't show me that legislation, I will do that.
I'm telling you, right?
I am doing that.
You'll be asked to stop doing it. If you don't do it, we will seize it under Section 19 of the legislation.
No,
you will commit offences.
No, you won't. If you do anything that's unlawful, right, I will.
Well, yeah, I would expect that you would.
I would, but I don't want to do that, Inspector. All I want to do.
Not film inside police stations.
I wasn't.
Because it's well, that looks like it's on, and you.
Well, how does that look like it's on? Is the screen on? Is the screen on, Inspector?
Just see a red light.
A red light. You can't see no red light because it's not on.
Well, you mustn't do that because it's a threat to our security in the police premises.
Okay, listen.
It's an official government building, you know that.
Listen, it's a public building.
Do you mind if I take you on in, please?
Yeah, Darren.
Darren what?
Darren, that's as far as we're going.
Well, okay, Darren, well, obviously, if you are found to be committing any offences, we'll need your full details. Otherwise, we couldn't deal with it by way of summons, you would have to be arrested.
I'd expect.
Turbinator even offers a simple solution. Just show the rule, and he'll follow it. That should have been the easiest moment in the interaction. If a clear legal authority existed, simply presenting it would have ended the disagreement immediately. Instead, the inspector shifts tactics, threatening to seize the drone under Section 19. That section isn't a blanket power to take a drone whenever officers feel uncomfortable. It only applies when there are reasonable grounds to believe the drone has been involved in committing a relevant offense. In other words, a violation has to exist first before seizure is allowed. The inspector then changes focus again, pointing to Turbinator filming with his body camera and implying that the police station status means it can't be recorded. But just because a police station is a government building doesn't mean filming it from a publicly accessible area is prohibited. The law allows people to record in public spaces, and no extra restrictions automatically apply simply because of the building's purpose.
Are you going to give me a full name?
At the end of the day.
Darren, will you give me your full details?
Will you give me your full details?
Yes, I will. I'm Inspector Garney from Northern Police, Hexham Police Station.
Okay.
7781's my first number.
Okay.
Right?
What's your date of birth?
No, you don't
What's
be
your
silly.
address?
Don't be silly.
Well, what do you want mine for?
I'm explaining to you, right? You will breach current legislation.
I will not.
Which we've taken
I know the legislation inside out.
Please don't do it.
I'm doing it.
If you do it,
I will do it.
We'll ask you to stop.
I'm definitely doing it now you told me that. Because I know you're lying. I know you're lying.
And if you don't allow us to seize it, you will be arrested because we won't be able to deal with it by way of summons.
Right,
okay?
Listen, you seize it.
Please leave the building.
I'm not in the building.
Just leave the area.
What?
Okay?
Why?
Well,
I thought me and you were having a pleasant conversation, weren't we?
With you.
Like, you're not being reasonable. We're having a conversation. You're telling me to leave.
Right? You are a threat to the security of this building.
And how do you work that out,
recording
Inspector?
drone footage. So I'm telling you not to do it.
Inspector, listen.
I'm explaining the legislation that prevents you from doing it.
There is no legislation that tells me that I cannot fly over here. The only way I couldn't fly over here, right, is if it was an FTR, right? I couldn't then. If there was a CTR, I still could,
Darren,
because of the class of drone that I've got.
More. Will you give me your full details, please?
What?
The inspector then shifts again, demanding Torbinator's personal information, even though no clear offense has been identified that would justify this request. Simply labeling someone a security risk doesn't make it true. There has to be an objective reason for that conclusion. Torbinator pushes back, pointing out the actual rules that govern drone flights. If the area were subject to a flight restriction zone, FTR, you wouldn't be allowed to fly there at all. And if it were controlled airspace under a control zone, CTR, flights could still be legal, depending on the type of aircraft and altitude limits set by the Civil Aviation Authority. In short, there are clear, defined rules that determine where drones can and cannot operate, and none of those rules have been shown to apply in this situation. The inspector's demands...
Tell me why, and I'll think about it.
Well, because I want to know who's on these premises, because I'm concerned that somebody turns up with, you know, a face covering like you. Like, why are you covering your face?
Do you know, I'll tell you now.
Cover your face?
Yes, I'll tell you why you covered my face, Inspector. Because I was looking in the window, right? Yeah. And when you come out, you came right into my space.
Yes,
now, I don't know if you've heard anything
because I don't like people looking at police stations who shouldn't be looking inside police stations.
Listen then.
Especially when I think they're filming.
Listen then.
Right, I've said all I'm going to say.
Oh, no, listen, let me finish. You asked me a question, man. Now, be polite, Inspector. I've listened to you. So, when I first came, I came into reception, right, to be reasonable and I tell you what my intentions are, right? So,
and I got that message, and in fairness, I was going to come speak to you.
Don't interject, please. I haven't interjected you, Inspector. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. No, I wasn't asked to leave. I said I'm going to go to the toilet because I had a bit of a bad stomach. But anyway, getting back to the point, right? If I was at any threat to this police station, I could stand what? 3, 4, 5 miles away, and I could fly my drone over this police station. You wouldn't have a clue where I was, Inspector.
Right,
so if I was a threat, I wouldn't come into the police station and explain out of courtesy and trying to be reasonable. I've even given you my first name. I don't have to, but to be reasonable, I have.
Another point that seriously weakens the inspector's position is that Torbinator had already gone inside the reception area earlier and clearly explained what he intended to do. Someone who truly poses a security threat wouldn't just walk into the building they're supposedly endangering and openly share their plans. The inspector was aware of this before stepping outside, yet he approaches as if the situation had come out of nowhere. That choice says a lot about how the encounter unfolds. Instead of considering the context, the interaction continues as if the prior conversation never happened. Torbinator even offers his first name voluntarily, something he isn't legally required to do, showing he isn't trying to hide anything or be evasive. Still, the inspector presses the same line, ignoring the facts that already point to a lawful and transparent approach. The persistence makes the encounter feel unnecessary and overly confrontational, rather than a justified enforcement of rules.
I'm about to do my intentions. You might not like that as an individual, but that's not the law.
Well, it's not what you're going on about it, Darren. It's a
please let me finish, Inspector. Please let me finish.
I've explained the legislation and the way.
Can I speak to you, mate? Because he's just rude. He's just rude. He's just rude.
We've just I'm just telling you how it is.
You're not telling me, Inspector. You're just being rude, man.
If you'd like to go, we've all got jobs to do.
The legislation, like you're saying there, about Section 19, like you're wrong, mate.
Okay.
You're totally wrong,
then you
bro.
can challenge the Northern Police Legal Department.
But I don't want to do that.
Because that's
I don't want to have to do that, though.
Well, that's up to you. That's your prerogative.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I've told you,
I'm not here
you will not be permitted to fly the drone over this police station based on police station security.
I can fly it anywhere and look in, mate. Don't have to fly over.
I've just asked you not to do it. I've explained the legislation for you not to do it.
Right, explain the legislation again.
Consequences.
Legislation again.
Right, because it's a threat to the station security for you to fly the drone and record that drone.
And that tells me that in Section 19, does it?
No, Section 19 is the offence. It gives us the power to seize the drone if you don't.
Right.
At one point, the inspector tells Torbinator to move along because the officers have real work to get back to. That's a strange claim, considering this entire interaction only happened because they chose to come outside and escalate it. No one forced them into the situation. They created it themselves. When the discussion circles back to the lack of a clear offense, the inspector doesn't admit any uncertainty or clarify the legal authority he's relying on. Instead, he brushes it off, suggesting Turbinator can take it up with the legal department later. That response says a lot. If the inspector's position were solid, there would be no need to defer the matter to someone else after the fact. This ties directly into something important I want to share. I'm partnering with a platform that couldn't come at a better time in the UK. It's called Audit. The legal landscape here is changing fast. Enforcement powers are broad, new laws are being introduced, and most people only realize the gaps in their understanding when they're already facing a situation. Audit is built to help you understand the system you live under at all times. The platform offers over 100 fully interactive legal guides. You don't just read them. You make decisions and see how those decisions affect your legal safety, risk of escalation, and evidence position. Built into the platform is StopBot, an AI focused on UK policing law. In guide mode, it acts like a teacher, breaking down powers and thresholds and reinforcing your understanding, so you feel confident and informed. That Audit also includes a daily UK policing news feed with real incidents, operational updates, and in-depth articles analyzing police misconduct cases, upcoming legislation, and what it all actually means. On top of that, there are practical protection tools, a live drone safety map with NOTAM awareness, a civil claim checker to assess liability, a police complaint generator, a SAR request builder, and more features being added over time. This platform isn't built for outrage. It's built because policing in the UK is under pressure, and people need to stay informed, prepared, and protected. It will launch soon at an affordable monthly price. You can check.
I won't do it. If you can explain that legislation, Inspector, I won't do it. If you can't, then I'll...
He already has done.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
No, he hasn't.
He has.
What's your number?
2203.
When did you leave school?
Are you trying to be funny?
I'm just asking a question. When did you leave school?
Nothing to do with you.
The Air Traffic Management and Unmanned Aircraft Act 2021,
yeah,
right?
Right.
So, part of that legislation
Right.
makes it an offence for an individual to fly a drone over a police station if there is a perceived threat to the security of that station. I am the duty inspector. I perceive that to be a threat to the security of this police station. Therefore, if you could do it, you'll be asked not to do it under that legislation. If you don't stop doing it, we will seize that drone under section 19 of the legislation.
What
and
legislation?
If you don't allow of what I've just explained to you,
what unmanned aircraft?
Yes, right. And if you don't allow us to do it,
you're wrong, you know.
You'll be arrested.
You're wrong, you know.
Right, and if you don't give your details so that you can be summoned, you'll also be arrested because we can't deal with the
Well, I'll already be arrested, won't I?
All right.
At one point, the inspector leans on his rank as justification, implying that because he's the duty inspector, his personal perception of a threat is enough to trigger the powers he's referring to. But that's not how legal authority works. Laws don't operate based on personal feelings alone. There has to be an objective, justifiable reason that can be clearly explained and defended. Being the senior officer on the scene doesn't expand the law. It simply means you are responsible for applying it correctly. When the inspector repeatedly brings up the possibility of arrest based only on a vague sense that someone might be a threat, it highlights a serious problem. Arrest is a powerful tool and isn't meant to be used as a way to pressure someone into compliance. Using it without a clear legal basis exposes the gap between the authority officers hold and how it should actually be applied, showing why objective rules matter so much in these encounters.
So I'm just explaining now. I don't know how much more I can say.
Okay, what's your inspector what? Sorry. Just for the record, Inspector Tyrant features. I think you look a bit like a tyrant.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what...
Thanks very much. I'll tell you one thing, we might get 1 or 2 calls if you walk around hexing like that because people don't normally go around with their face covered.
Well, then you'll know, won't you, that it's me.
Right.
Won't you? And I'm worried about my... so don't try and threaten me, mate.
I'm just telling you how it is.
Is there any law of me walking about like this, Inspector?
Not at the moment.
Right then. So if you get a call, I'd expect you to tell them then, wouldn't you?
Threat harassment or alarm to anybody, then
walking down the street.
Right.
Would walking down the street with this on? No, because I don't want to do that.
We're done.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to cause anyone any harassment.
We're done.
So me walking down the street with this on, would that be a criminal offence,
I'm going to ask you to leave the premise.
Exactly.
Now, okay?
I didn't think it would be, would it?
Can you leave it?
Now, I am going to stand over there, or I might stand a mile away, I might stand 2 miles away, and I'm going to fly my drone over your police station, like it or not. That's what's happening, mate.
Like they've said, if the drone comes over the police station,
It's coming over.
you'll get arrested, won't you?
No.
Well, we'll see you very soon
So
then,
we'll see you
won't we?
shortly.
So I'm getting arrested if it goes over the police station, am I now?
You've been told. I've told you not to do it.
When the earlier arguments don't hold, the focus shifts again, this time to Torbinator covering his face, with the suggestion that it could amount to harassment, alarm, or distress. That stretches the law far beyond its intended purpose. Simply covering your face isn't an offense, and public order legislation still requires behavior that is genuinely threatening or abusive, not just something an officer happens to dislike during an encounter. The timing of this claim makes it seem less like a legitimate concern and more like an attempt to justify the pressure that was already being applied. Then a sergeant arrives and immediately sides with the inspector, without first establishing the facts or understanding what actually happened. This escalates the situation straight to talk of arrest, reinforcing the officer's position rather than questioning whether the original ground for concern were valid. The result is an interaction that feels driven more by authority and procedure than by clear legal reasoning or genuine safety concerns.
So I'm getting arrested if the drone goes over. You said you're going to tell me to bring it down? Make it around.
He told you not to do
Just
it.
don't do it.
Under what law? I don't come on law, me mate,
right?
And I'm doing it,
Okay.
right?
Well,
and you know what it is, Inspector? Not only will I take Northumberland, I'll take you as well for lawful redress, mate. Believe me, I'll take you for lawful redress, and I'll take it out your ass pocket as well as the Chief Constable if you do anything that's unlawful to me.
Okay.
Simple as that, mate. Alright. Yeah?
I've explained to you, I've been reasonable.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You're trying to blackmail me. You're trying to blackmail me, mate. Well, get yourself in. I didn't ask you to come out, did I?
Well, you go away from this police station.
No.
Because this is our police station.
There's no chance to say I can't forget you.
We like look after our...
There's no chance to say I can't forget you. Is there?
Okay.
Is there any chance to say I can't forget you? Am I breaking the law by being here? If I am, I'll leave.
You're not. But I've just...
Inspector.
You know, our conversation is finished, isn't it?
No. Who dictates that? You dictated when it starts. Well, I'll dictate when it finishes then.
Do not walk back up to that glass again, because I got the impression that you were about to record in this police station. Please go away.
Right.
Please don't look into the police station.
Is that against the law?
Right? We consider that to be a threat against our security.
That's not against the law, man. How are you, Inspector? Let's be serious, mate.
Can you
I don't want to leave.
Just let us get on with it.
You know what? I don't want to leave on bad terms, right?
Well,
me looking through that window,
I
right?
never wanted to start on them. I just don't like people.
I know, so let's try and sort ourselves out. I know, and I don't want to do
alarming
that.
here,
Inspector,
you see.
that is not my intention.
That's appreciated.
But one question before you go, please. Me looking through that window, glass, is that an offence?
It's not what normal people do.
Oh, what's normal, man, Inspector? Right? You can't get arrested for not doing something what you class is not normal, Inspector, man.
Okay.
If you don't like members of the public speaking to man, then get a different job that doesn't deal with the public, mate.
Okay, Darren, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, yes, just a bit of friendly advice and all that. Yeah, see you later, mate. How mad's that? How mad's that?
What really stands out in the closing moments is how the tone of the interaction contrasts sharply with the actual outcome. Throughout the encounter, the language suggested serious consequences: seizure, arrest, security concerns, but none of it ever came to pass. When Torbinator points out that there are no signs restricting access, and even the inspector admits that no law is being broken by his presence, the entire premise of the confrontation collapses. Another important detail is how the conversation kept shifting as each explanation failed to hold up. One moment, it was about drone legislation, the next security concerns, then filming, then public order. That constant change shows that there wasn't a clearly defined offense from the start. Instead, the officers seemed to be searching for anything, any reason, to justify their original approach that, in the end, Torbinator simply walks away, and the inspector returns inside the station, leaving behind a situation that began with heavy warnings but ended with nothing enforced. For all the talk of powers and threats, the encounter closes quietly because there was no solid basis to act on. Something that started with so much authority and certainty ends with the officers having nothing to show for it. that. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe to support the channel and keep this kind of accountability in the spotlight. I'm the Audit Assessor, and this was episode 20. See you next time.